morning, everyone. So it's been a few hours since the little montage I put on. I've got a good chunk of clients check-in now, so I thought I would take a little bit of a break to talk you through what I'm doing and why. I am 18 weeks out from my first ever bodybuilding competition. My show is in November. I started prep 2 weeks ago now. Prep is basically a certain amount of time in which you diet down to the condition required to step on stage. This condition is not a condition that is lifestyle, so it's not just a simple diet. Unfortunately, it's very intense diet. So obviously bodybuilding is a sport, so I'm doing this competition. I'm really looking forward to see what I can achieve during these 20 weeks, well, the next 18 weeks now. I have had this goal for a very long time. It's been almost 3 years now. I've been into fitness for a very long time, but I started bodybuilding about 2.5 years ago. I got into it, and then I quickly got a bodybuilding coach then, and then we worked on growing as much muscle as possible during the last 2 years, and now it's time to cut down and reduce the body fat as much as possible for this competition, to basically showcase my results on this show. I am very excited for it. I'm very nervous as well. Honestly, don't feel like I'm on prep now. Like, I feel like I'm on prep. I know I'm on prep. It's a constant thought in my head, but at the same time, it was always a goal that was in the future. Like, one day I'm gonna compete, one day I will do a prep to compete in bodybuilding, and now it's finally arrived. So I decided I wanted to document my little journey, because it's something I do want to look back on. Yeah, I was putting off filming this video, to be honest, but then I thought I will 100% regret it if I don't try. I'm not very good on camera. I'm not very good on, I've never vlogged before. I've made videos for Instagram and everything like that, but I've never vlogged before, so this will be my first time as well on doing that. So I thought I would tell you what's required in prep, what will be required of me, or what is required already from me during this time. This is a diet, but this is a bit of a harder diet than a much harder diet than a normal diet. Everything is on top of my training. So my training routine remains the same. I always train 4 times a week. I've always trained 4 times a week, and I will continue to train 4 times a week. That's a constant. But everything else, so the expenditure, steps and cardio, will gradually increase, and my calorie intake will gradually decrease as I lose body fat. This is very person dependent, so I can't tell you how much cardio I'm going to need to do, or how much food I'm going to have to eat as we move along the weeks, because obviously it all depends on how my body responds. I would tell you very quickly how my prep started, the things that I'm doing at the moment. I'm not gonna give you the calories I'm on, because I don't want anybody to just take my calories, take the cardio I'm doing, take the steps that I'm doing and copy it, because number one, you're not on prep. Number two, it wouldn't work for you, because we have 2 different bodies. We have 2 different amounts of muscle mass and everything like that. So how did my prep start? My prep started after, as I said, 1.5 years of growing phase. I did this growing phase. I don't remember when I started it, but it was about 18 months, if I'm correct. And then this ended in December. So right now we are in July 2024. December, Christmas, or New Year's, my growing phase ended. From January to April, I did a mini cut. This mini cut was honestly incredibly easy. So I only had, I think, 3 times a week cardio, 3 times a week, 25 minutes or 30 minutes maybe. I don't remember exactly. But I had 3 times a week cardio. My training was the same. Food was a little bit lower than the normal, but honestly it was very easy, and I lost a few kilos there. So during my growing phase I gained about 10 kilos from January to April. I think it was April. We started the cut on the 1st of January, which was a Monday, coincidentally. At first the cut was supposed to be 10 weeks, but because my body didn't lose as much body fat as I'd hoped, we increased the amount of weeks, so it was 16 weeks at the end. So I had 10 weeks. I then had a meal out, or like an off-plan meal, on the 10th week, the day of the 10th week, and then I continued for an extra 6 weeks. When my 6 weeks were over, I did a reverse phase up until the start of prep. So a reverse phase is where you gradually go and increase the calories again, push up food as much as possible without gaining any extra body fat or very minimum body fat, without going back into a full-on growing phase. So I gained back, I think, 1 kilo or something like that. And then I started prep on the 20th of June. I will compete as a first timer, so as someone that has never done this before, so it's a first timer's show. I am doing 2 shows back to back because on the same day in the same venue there's 2 shows. So the first one, which is my goal, my biggest goal, is the first one, the first timer's show, and then a few hours later there's an open class. The open class will be mixed people, so people that can have, maybe they have competed a lot of times before, but I do want to do them both because it is the end of the season, so there's not going to be any shows after these, so I might as well just do both. Obviously I have a bodybuilding coach. I am a coach myself. Why do you have a coach if you're a coach yourself? Well, I am a lifestyle coach, so I coach normal people, I coach the general population, I coach women mostly who want to improve their relationship with food, or they want to learn how to exercise, or they've gone to the gym, they've been going to the gym for 10 years, but they want to make more progress, or they want to change their physique, they want to increase their muscle mass. Basically, general population. We get amazing results, but it's not a bodybuilding competition. So obviously I have a bodybuilding coach who tells me what to do. We started the prep by reintroducing cardio. So in my reverse phase, all the cardio had been taken out. And my cardio is now being reintroduced 4 times a week, 30 minutes. I'm going to make some considerations later. The food was obviously reduced. I am on a meal plan. I'm going to follow the meal plan. I don't want to know how many calories I'm on. Obviously, I'm a nutritionist, so I have a pretty good idea of how many calories I'm on right now. But I'm going to try not to give it too much attention as we go along, because I don't want to influence myself. Because if I know the amount of calories that I have, I will think if it's a high number or a low number. If it's a high number, I'll be thinking, oh, that number is too high, or like, I'm going to question the amount of calories I'm on, because that's just how my brain works. The same way goes for if I see that the calories are getting a little bit lower. I don't want to think, oh my God, the calories are low, so I'm hungry. I'm hungry because I know that my calories are low. You know what I mean? So I don't want to influence my own feelings. In terms of feelings, how I'm feeling. So I am feeling really excited, but I'll be honest, every day changes. So some days I feel nervous and I'm like, what am I doing? I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm never going to make it to show day. And then there are some days where, I tick all the boxes. I get to the evening and I've ticked all the boxes and I feel really proud of myself, and I'm very, very excited. However, it's been 2 weeks. So there's 18 weeks to go. The prep is going to be harder and harder. It's going to get harder and harder. I have done, as I said, I've done 2 weeks with 4 times of cardio, 30 minutes. I'm probably going to, or at least most people do, and I don't think I would be any difference. I see people ending up with 60 minutes daily of cardio, or even 90 minutes daily of cardio. So everything is on the table. Everything is possible in terms of how hard it's going to be. So that scares me a bit. But as I said, on the other hand, I believe in myself. It's a good thing that I have been implementing these habits for a long time. So the habits of, for example, eating my meals and going to the gym and everything like that. So I'm not starting from scratch on that. But definitely this prep is going to require a lot of discipline, which bring it on. Like right now, I feel like that I might change my mind. I will do my very best. I want to get this. I want to do this. It's been a goal of mine for such a long time, and now it's been And now it's here, and I'm going to work for it 100%. Training session from this morning. As you can see, I started with a little bit of a warm-up, just some leg swings and hip openers. I then put on a resistance band and did with a little bit of resistance as well, a little bit of kickbacks too, just to get a little bit of blood flowing in the glutes before starting my session. Then moved on to abduction. The first set you're gonna see is my warm-up set, one of my warm-up sets. I do 2 warm-up sets on this one, and then I proceed to do my top set, which is the stack. So on this gym, the abduction machine is not very heavy, so my set doesn't look very pretty because I try and make it a little bit harder on myself. So I do 10 reps normal, 10 reps in the middle, and then 10 reps leaning forward. This really works for me. I get great connection in the glutes as well. Second exercise of today was, so the one you see here is my top set. I always use my hands to help with the first rep, so then I can get nice and like all the reps by myself and have full energy basically. This was an absolute grinder in here. I don't push the top set too much, just because sometimes I get a bit of a twinge in my lower back, so I try as much as possible. Normally maybe on another exercise I try an extra rep on that, but on that weight I didn't feel comfortable doing so. My second set is a little bit lighter, so here I push it to through failure. As you can see, I'm struggling with that rep. This is the last 3 reps, so second to last rep, and then normally people would stop there, but I tried to get an extra rep, and then of course it didn't work, so I used my hand to finish that off. That ensures me I know that I'm going to through failure over there. You can see from my face. So then moved on to some good morning. So this is my hinge movement of today's session. I don't normally have a hinge movement on this particular session, but I've added this in recently and I'm really enjoying it, just to have an little bit of extra. So that was a warm-up set. This is my second warm-up set. I'm trying to go as low as possible, but without losing glute engagement. Today my lower back was acting up a little bit, I guess from all the posing, so I didn't push it too much. This is my top set. I think I got 8 reps on this one, maybe 10, I'm not sure, but yeah. The next exercise on the Smith machine was a reverse, foot elevated reverse lunge. This is my warm-up set. I don't get very many on this one, if I'm honest, and I don't get much weight on it either because it's an absolute beast of an exercise. I'm moving all of the weight with that front leg. I'm not doing anything with the back leg apart from obviously giving myself stability. Moved on to leg press. So here, before the depth release comes to me and tells me go deeper, I can't go deeper. I have limitations which have nothing to do with mobility, and I feel a fantastic stretch on this one. I absolutely love a single leg press. I feel like they are an incredible exercise for glute growth. And yeah, I got 30 kilos per side on the first one, 8 reps, and then second set you saw 20 kg. I got 20 reps on that one. So leg curl, second to last exercise. I do one session seated leg curl like this one, and then the other session I do lying leg curl. This one I tried 35 kg today, didn't work. I got 4 reps and they weren't very good, but then I moved it down to 30 and it was fine. And then last exercise, quads, leg extension. Again, 2 working sets on this one to absolute failure, which are the ones you're seeing. I believe I got 10 reps on the first top set that I think it was 60 kg, maybe 55, and then the second set I got 15 reps at 40 kg. I used to be a lot stronger in that. I don't know why, my strength just went down because I didn't do them for a while last year. So I'm just working my way back up. As you can see from the quad and glute pump that I filmed, yeah, it was a pretty successful session. It was very good. Welcome back. So it's a little bit later than the video I filmed earlier. It's 4:30 now. I took a quick shower whilst I was waiting for my clients to reply. Check-ins have been completed. I now have a little bit of admin to do. So I have my daily email. Every day I write an email, either educational or something else. So every single day I write this email, Monday to Friday, Saturday and Sunday take it off. I write this email and I send it to my email list. We are a bit behind today because I obviously just took the steps to the gym, and then when I trained, and then back. I've been on the laptop all day. So we are at 4,800, which means I have 6,500 to finish. So fortunately, I've had a walking pad since lockdown. I recently, just before prep, I upgraded my desk to a standing desk. So I have the desk that I used to have. We bought some legs. And now I can click a button and the desk goes up. It has been honestly a game changer because I do steps whilst I work. Sometimes I do steps whilst I do check-ins, but today I didn't feel like it. I was very, very tired from leg day, so I wanted to take a bit of a chill. But now I'm going to finish off work today for the next couple of hours. I'm going to finish off on the walking pad. I realized I didn't talk about something very important earlier. Something that is also required on show day is obviously the posing. Posing is a huge part of bodybuilding and of a bodybuilding competition, where basically when you step on stage, you obviously get compared with other people. How do you get compared to those other people? You stand next to them, like you walk pretty, and then you get into some poses. So posing wise, there is mandatory poses, which are the ones that you have to do. So the very first thing you do when you step on stage, you walk to the middle in a lineup, and then on the lineup you do some mandatory poses. There's front, side, back, side. And then you go back to the front, and then from the front you do front with both hands overhead, and then you go side, one hand overhead. Well, it's two hands overhead. It doesn't matter if it's front or side. You can go front or side, and then it's one hand overhead, and then it's back, double biceps, so back, both hands overhead, and then you can, well, you go to the other side. You don't have to do the other side. You can go back to the same size if you want. But in the very first mandatory pose, the one where the hands are not overhead, then you have to go to the other side, and that's my really bad side. So anyway, this is a very, very big deal because obviously that's the thing that makes or break you in terms of showcasing your physique and then getting placings. Personally, I don't expect to get any placing. In terms of the poses, I want to absolutely nail the poses because I don't want to look stupid. So I've been practicing those poses for a long time now. So I've been practicing those mandatory poses for the past 2 years since I got into bodybuilding. However, there is a second thing on show day, and this second thing, obviously I haven't practiced because you don't start practicing before you start prep, but it is a 60 seconds routine to music. For this routine, you are 100% on your own, so it's not even on a lineup. It is not judged, so you're not judged on the routine. By the time you do the routine, they've already written down the points from the comparisons. However, you still need to do the routine. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the routine. So this weekend, and if I can, I will include a little bit of footage from the weekend as well. But this weekend I went up to Manchester. So I'm in London. So it was a 4.5 hour drive, very long. My husband did it. Very kind man. So I went up to Manchester to this posing coach, Kayla. I've known her for a while now because she's a friend of my coach as well. So I went up there and I chose the music. I'll give you a little bit of background in terms of the music just to make you understand. I'm not gonna give the song away now, but I had a few different vibes in mind. Well, most of them, the main ones were two, okay? So one vibe, I don't like the word vibe, but I don't know what else to say. One of them was a slow song, common, like pop song, which is normally what people do. Most people, not saying all people, because some people do more active songs, but most people do maybe a slow pop songs that are, I'm not gonna say easy to pose in because they're not. There's nothing to take away from that. They're still hard to pose on, but they're a bit slower. And then there was a second vibe, which is a bit of me, which is a particular genre of, I don't know if it's a genre, how would I call it? A particular decade, there we go. A particular decade of songs, which is, as I said, a bit of me. It's very me. It's my favorite, one of my favorite songs, is my favorite genre of songs. It's not a weird thing, it's a normal thing. There's nothing weird about it, there's nothing particular about it or special. However, this song is one of my favorite songs. It makes me really happy, and so that was the other vibe, that or another song even. Between those, I had like 4 choices, 4 songs saved. We listened to them in the car, but was going there, my husband and I was like, I think I should do this one, the slow one. And then I listened to the other one, and I was like, but it would be really cool if I could do this one instead. And then I was like, if I don't choose this one, and also I wasn't even sure it was possible to do because it's quite fast. So it's not dancing, it's posing, and you can dance to a fast song. You can't necessarily pose to a fast song. So I was like, I'm not even sure if it's possible. I'm gonna ask Kayla, but I feel like if I don't ask, if I don't try, I'm gonna regret it, because I haven't mentioned this on the vlog, but I've told like people, my friends or whatever, they know. I don't know if I'm going to continue prepping or competing after this. I don't know. I might absolutely love it and want to do it again, or I might love it and never want to do it again, or I might hate it and stop doing it. You know what I mean? So I don't know what to expect. And in terms of the song, I was like, I might only be doing this for once in my life. So why, not do this song and then regret not even trying? So my point was, I'll ask Kayla if she thinks we can do it. If we can, I'm gonna do it. So we could do it. We could do it. She said we could do it. We did it. It instead of being an hour posing session, it lasted 2 hours and 15 minutes. Stayed there for a very, very, very long time, but we got it done. We finished it up. Whilst we were on the way back from there, I had a bit of a panic moment, because I was like, okay, fine, like she's a dancer and she's great, she's amazing, she's a choreographer, this is her job, this is her career. How am I going to do this now? Like, it's one thing if she's next to me and we were practicing together, and sometimes I was making a mistake and we were going back on it and we were repeating, etc., etc. And I was thinking, how am I going to do this by myself, with no mirror, with no guide, with nothing, with nothing? I'm not a dancer. I'm uncoordinated, and my arms aren't straight. I always say this, but it's true. My arms aren't straight. I feel a bit awkward about it. I feel a bit uncomfortable about it. My body's a little bit weird. It's a bit weird like that. But then I thought about it, and I was like, I can't do it just because I haven't done it before, just because I haven't practiced. But if I need to practice, I'll practice. If I need to practice every single day for this routine, I will practice every single day for this routine. And so this is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to practice every single day the posing of the routine. Maybe not every single day, but so far I've practiced every single day. So I'm trying to do 30 minutes of mandatory poses and 30 minutes of routine posing. Obviously, in the days where I'm very busy and I'm training legs, so for example, today I only did maybe 10 minutes of practicing, but I'm trying to do a little bit of practicing, of a little bit of posing every single day, either in the house or in the gym, whatever I can. But definitely on rest days, I'm going to try and stick to my 30 minutes mandatory, 30 minutes routine. Again, the mandatory are more important. I'm actually going to correct myself. More important is relative, because yes, the mandatory poses are more important because they are judged and they are what determines your placing. So on one hand, that's true. On the other hand, in terms of my own memories and my own goal, I'm not doing this because I want to win. Obviously, if I won, would be great, but I'm not gonna win. I'm probably not even gonna place. I don't know, of course, but probably not even gonna place. But I'm doing this for myself. I'm doing this to prove to myself that I can do something that is so hard. Same goes for So it goes for everything. I need to prove to myself that I can stick to the food, stick to the cardio, stick to the steps, stick to the training, stick to the posing, stick to the routine, you know? So there's a lot of tasks right now. And this is one of my two priorities for this year. So this year I am prioritizing, of course, my clients, because work always comes first. And secondly, I'm prioritizing my prep. So prep and work will be my life. They are my life right now. Yeah, I don't know why I went on a tangent there. This video has already been way too long. What else did I want to say? Yeah, I'm going to add one more thing, which is what I kind of introduced before. I know, I am quite small. Small doesn't mean with low body fat. Small means muscle mass wise. So even though I did a growing phase for a year and a half, there are some people that grow muscle for years and years and years. There's also people that genetically build a little bit more muscle. I hold a lot of body fat on my lower body. I also have a lot of cellulite, which I'm hoping it will go away when the body fat goes down or goes away. So there are a few insecurities in terms of that. So in terms of body fat, I'll diet. Like the thing is, if my body responds decently, I should get lean enough. Okay, so that's not a, I'm going to do everything in my power to get lean as I need to. But in terms of muscle mass, there's nothing that can be done now. I'm not growing any muscle in prep. We move along the prep, the deficit gets bigger and bigger. So obviously I'm not going to grow any muscle. The goal of training during prep is to retain as much muscle mass as possible. So what I think will happen, we're going to push for condition, because I can't push on size, if that makes sense. So I'm a first-time competitor. I know nothing of competing, nothing. Okay, apart from, of course, the last 3 years I've listened to a lot of podcasts. I've learned a lot. I know a lot in terms of education and things like that, but I have never competed. So from what I've seen is that people that have a higher amount of muscle mass can get away with a little bit less condition. Why? Because they look better, much better. While someone with a lower amount of muscle mass, you can't really get away with less condition, because then you don't see the muscle mass that you have, enough at least. And also there's nothing to push for. So you're not showing size. Sorry, there's a little fly. You're not showing size, you're showing more condition rather than the size. While someone with a bigger size might need a little bit less condition. If that's the case, if my belief is correct, I feel I'm gonna end up with a lot of cardio, which I'm going to do. Or I'm going to do my very best. No, I'm not going to do my very best. I need to stop saying I'm going to do my very best. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do this prep. I'm going to complete this prep. I feel like this right now. I might change my mind tomorrow. Okay, so goodbye. I've already spoken too much. I'm going to do my steps on the treadmill whilst I keep working. Later, very soon, I will have actually my next meal as well. Later now. I actually spent the last couple of hours on the treadmill, so I'm behind on one meal. So I'm gonna have that now, and then in a couple hours we'll have dinner, and then I have one more meal. But I thought I would finish the video here. Everything for the day has been completed, and now I do feel a little bit tired. Obviously I know that I'm 2 weeks in, so things are only gonna get harder, but I wanted to share the process. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I will try and keep this once a week thing. So I'm 18 weeks out now. I'm gonna enjoy my meal whilst it's still warm. I haven't included all the meals today, so I had a chicken and broccoli meal earlier. Now I'm having salmon and potatoes. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video or if you want to know more, post in the comments and I will get back to you. In the meanwhile, please leave a like and subscribe if you want to watch more.